knowing that there's a possibility for Rain to be up on the field, it just makes me wonder if he is going to rely on the fire typing, and is he going to rely on it for the opposing Kartana? But right now, we're just seeing a very, very common Kyogre lead on both these trainers.
Yeah, for Vichy Vasudevan on the bottom of your screen with Whimsicott Kyogre, and then Aaron Traylor on the top with a Kyogre Whimsicott as well. Both of these trainers are 5-1. Remember, this is round 7. There are 8 rounds today in Swiss. So if the winner of this just will be even closer to making it to top cut. The loser most likely will not make it to cut.
Yeah, and the most important thing to keep an eye out for right now are the items on these Pokemon. Tailwind will mean that Aaron's Kyogre is able to move first with that Water Spout, but is that a Choice Scarf? Is it a different item? We'll have to see. The Kyogre on Vichy's side of the field was able to hold on pretty well through that Water Spout at max health, but Aaron's Kyogre took even less damage, so good indication, I think, from this turn 1 that we're looking at some bulky Kyogre from both these trainers, and really looking at where the metagame has landed today, I can't say I'm too surprised. We've seen Kyogre holding Mystic Water, we've seen Kyogre holding Choice Scarves or 2, but I think that when you're going into a tournament like this, when you're looking for those consistent wins, to give yourself the best option of getting championship points, of making cut, having that bulk, and just giving yourself the ability to still use Water Spout to great effectiveness, but also stay around on the field a little bit longer and be a little comfier is definitely the key thing to emphasize. So the one thing I am a little bit curious about now, though, is we see the matching Tailwind come up from Vichy. Is this Whimsicott's Moonblast going to make a difference in how this turn is going to shake out?
Kyogre is able to take the Moonblast there, does not do too much damage. This Water Spout is not doing a lot, though. Even Whimsicott hangs on with 3 HP, so is VC's Kyogre choice locked into the Water Spout potentially, because you would think it would have changed its item there, but Whimsicott gets knocked out. Kyogre hangs on with 3 HP as well, so Aaron Traylor claims the first knockout of the series.
Yeah, honestly, some Kyogre only run Water Spout as their water room move, and it's possible that these trainers are both playing these Kyogre as, I know my opponent is trying to figure out my held item. Maybe I'll just fake a Scarf. Maybe I'll just fake one of those choice items so that my opponent, doesn't know that I also have Thunder and Ice Beam, or doesn't know that I don't run Protect, or, some of the other sort of nuances you can get into at this team preview. The one thing I am very worried about, though, for Vichy right now, though, is we do see the Cinderace out on his side of the field, and there is still a very healthy Kyogre on Aaron's side of the field. You have to think that Cinderace is not feeling too comfy right now. No,
definitely not as a fire-type Pokemon. But remember, thanks to the Libero ability, it can change its typing. Potentially, if it goes for a Max Airstream here, then it would become a Flying-type Pokemon, and then it would not be weak to those water attacks. And that is what we're going to see, at least on VC's end here, with the G-Max Cinderace. We don't know what attack is going to go for, but it is standing on top of that ball, and it is ready and roaring to go in this matchup. Aaron will also match with the Dynamax of his own, though. So you would assume in this spot it would probably be Kartana, since Kyogre has taken so much damage, but no, I would actually assume wrong there. It's instead the Kyogre, so that the Water Spout doesn't have the mitigated damage here.
Yeah, it could also be a way for Aaron to get around the presence of a possible choice item. So we'll just have to keep paying attention as this turn does reveal the Airstream from that Cinderace.
Airstream into Kartana is not enough for a knockout. So would not reveal if it is Focus Sash Kartana. But then again, a lot of the times in this format right now, Kartanas are Assault Vests. So VC might already know that it is potentially not the Focus Sash, but the Max Geyser is a one-hit KO into Cinderace, into the Flying-type Cinderace, by the way, not even the Fire-type one, because of that Libero ability. So that just shows how strong one Kyogre is with its great special attack, but also because of the drizzle, because of the rain being activated, that increased the water damage by 50% there. And even though it was a neutral hit, it was still too much for Cinderace to handle.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of trainers use Groudon to great success this weekend so far, but this just goes to show you, Kyogre is still out there, and it is still a contender. To Vichy's benefit, Dracozolt is able to hit that Kyogre very, very hard. usually has that hustle ability, which means its attacks will be boosted, but it will also run a risk of missing. So depending on his targeting here, this could be a good opportunity for him to try and tie things up, but unfortunately he already got a miss.
Yes, that bolt beak does not connect, so Kyogre goes down thanks to the attack from Kartana that we played. Was able to take it out, and Kartana will get the Beast Boost, increasing its attack by 1 stage. So that's really a really unfortunate turn for VC, because if the Bolt Peak attack, even though Kartana resists the attack, its HP is so low, it would have been enough to knock it out there. And then also Aaron Traylor expecting that attack going towards Kyogre instead of Kartana. So that's a big difference in what he was expecting.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see some more information being hidden by these trainers as Vichy's just locks in that forfeit. You know, I think that's a good choice there. Dracozolt is, I think we did see an interesting interaction where, you know, Vichy and Aaron were able to stagger the tailwinds a little bit. So, you know, we saw Aaron go for the tailwind right away, and then we saw Vichy go for the taunt, and then the tailwind after that turn. Hypothetically speaking, if Vichy is able to do that again and just have that tailwind up 1 extra turn, that could be the perfect opportunity for Dracozolt to come out onto the field, Dynamax, and just start hitting very, very hard. But as we go into the leads of this game too, it looks like we're seeing much of the same, which just begs the question, are we going to see the same turn play out like we saw in game 1?
Well, you would think that either of these trainers would want to switch it up somewhat, because of how ineffective those water attacks were onto the, especially from VC's side into Aaron's Kyogre, right? So this time around, VC does not go for the taunt, and instead both trainers are able to have their tailwind set up, so everybody has their speed doubled on the field. Whimsicott brought down to 1 HP on that turn, but will hang on thanks to its Focus Sash. Again, the Kyogre did not take that much damage, just like how it was in game 1. But because its HP was lower just a little bit there, that Water Spout really wasn't as strong. And the difference between the two Kyogre's Water Spouts, right? That one went, VC's brought Whimsicott down to 1 HP, and Aaron's Water Spout didn't even bring Whimsicott to half.
I know. I mean, it's hard to do the math here because the Kyogre on Aaron's side of the field did already take some damage. And as Water Spout's base power is based off of your percentage of health remaining, you do have to take that into account. But that being said, you know, we saw Vichy go for a very early switch on his Kyogre in game 1, and now we saw an additional early switch on his Kyogre in game 2. I'm not saying anything for certain, as I would want to see maybe 1 or 2 more damage calcs before making an assumption, but that could be an interesting indication of one of those choice items. Just something to keep an eye out for as we watch this play out.
Aaron's Whimsicott knocked out Vichy's Whimsicott there with the Moonblast, and Thunder is the reveal on Aaron's end there into the resistance slot into Dracozolt. So now this is the point where the Dynamax is still available for Dracozolt here.
It is, and knowing that Cinderace is the final Pokemon that Vichy brought again to this matchup makes me wonder if we're going to see the Dracozolt try and take it. One thing that Vichy could go for here is you could just go for the max Airstream again, get the speed boost on the Dracozolt, and just hope that you're a little bit luckier the second time around. But that's a huge risk. You're not guaranteed that max lightning to hit because you can't max move, because you Dynamaxed your Cinderace again, or Gigantamax.
Yeah, and that is going to be the exact same spot here. So Cinderace will go for the Gigantamax on this turn. Cotton Spore, though, out of Whimsicott, a nice reveal from Aaron. Not a move that will harshly lower Cinderace's speed. So that will be, you know, that actually makes it much worse. It's still a water type, but it won't be knocked out from this spot. Cinderace with the max Airstream will change its typing into a flying type, so that will give it a boost thanks to the same type attack bonus. Goes on to Whimsicott, though, which only had 1 HP remaining, so that was obviously going to knock out. Does not target down the Kyogre slot, maybe focusing that the Whimsicott being, with Prankster being a little more annoying to deal with, so get that off of the field. But now with the speed boost, that can somewhat negate the Cotton Spore, and Bolt Beak does connect this time around. Kyogre is taken down, so that is 2 KOs on this turn for BC.
Yeah, a great way to knock out the Kyogre and the Whimsicott, bringing Aaron down to his last 2 Pokemon. But thanks to the fact that Cotton Spore had that Prankster priority on the Whimsicott, both of these Pokemon are currently sitting at -1 speed. They were lowered 2 stages by Cotton Spore, and then Airstream brought them up a single stage. So if Vichy wants to try and rely on the damage-dealing powers of these Pokemon, he's going to have to take an attack from a Kartana and a Zacian first, which is going to be very tough to do given just how much chip damage is already down on the board. You know, a max Airstream here would probably be ideal, since that would bring both these Pokemon back up to neutral speed, and then maybe you use your third turn of Gigantamax to try and find a third one. But I just don't see a situation here where Kartana and Zacian are both unable to get an attack in prior to the Cinderace and the Dracozolt.
Yeah, you know, you got to get your second G-Max attack before you can get the third, right? And I just don't even think in this scenario VC's able to have that second attack. He tends to agree as Cinderace is switching out into the Kyogre slot. So a very ineffective use of Dynamax or Gigantamax here in game 2. Now it's time for Aaron to Dynamax, and thanks to that big, beautiful Beast Ball, we know that it's going to be our buddy Kartana here with the Dynamax. Such a strong Pokemon and has such a good ability to sweep through games because of Beast Boost, increasing its attack with every knockout that it gets, that once you get one, you can just keep steamrolling them through.
Yeah, and it's really sort of analogous to how a lot of people run Calyrex Ice and Calyrex Shadow, but for now, that Kyogre will be taking a ton of damage from the Behemoth Blade, even though it's resisted, and Kartana utilizing max Airstreams of its own. It looks like this Dracozolt's going to be able to stick around for one more hit, but the question is, who's its target, and will it even land? And
it's going to take one more hit, and will it hit its move? Because Bolt Beak goes into the Zacian here. Not enough for a knockout. The Tailwinds will expire on both ends here, and now Kartana still at full HP, still with 2 more turns of Dynamax available for Aaron. It was looking in a very strong spot to win this match and potentially go into the winning in round 8.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what exactly the logic was behind switching out the Cinderace so that it could come back in. One thing that comes to mind, the only real priority move that Cinderace gets access to is Sucker Punch, which, assuming your opponent is going for an attacking move, you can attack first. That could be what Vichy is looking for his out right now. If he can find a way to chip these Pokemon, bring them down into the red, then a Sucker Punch would be easy to clean that up. Unfortunately, though, with the removal of the Dracozolt from the field, that's just going to be that much harder to accomplish.
Heartbreaking seeing the Dracozolt get knocked out like that. Such a fun Pokemon. But Kartana will max Airstream into Kyogre, getting a speed boost, and more importantly, knocking it out, gaining or increasing its attack by 1 stage because of Beast Boost. Now, all that is left is that very low health Cinderace, where this Kartana is ready to roll. The rain's up anyway, so Cinderace's fire attacks wouldn't even be as strong into it, right? So this is pretty wrapped up for Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, the rain did just stop for what it's worth. So there's an opportunity here, but both these Pokemon on Aaron's side of the field are at +2 speed. Sucker Punch is good, but it's not knocking out a full health Dynamax Kartana good, unfortunately. So, I think this was very well played by Aaron, just, going for the consistent damage, not letting some of these strategies, the Dracozolt in particular, throw him. And it just goes to show you, this is the kind of consistent play you really have to aim for if you want to come back and be a 2-time regional champion in this cycle.
Yeah, that's right. He along with Andrew Ding, they have the unique ability to potentially win their second regional championship in this